Literally one right here. Blue Beetle, Volume 1, The More Things Change. It's a graphic novel I read back in July. And I actually liked it. I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, one of the things that I liked the most, I'm just going to say the fact that the main character, Madmanreads, is just teenager. It's supposed to be like your typical teenager, but he's also Hispanic. And I don't know, for me, it seems like at least kind of a big deal, because if he's not the first Hispanic superhero, he's definitely one of the first, at least when it comes to the DC world, DC universe. So, yeah, there's that. And I know a lot of people, a lot of haters would right away immediately say, oh, that's no reason to like a superhero just because he's Hispanic, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. For me, it is, because I'm Hispanic, and, I've never really come across any Hispanic superhero before, so, yeah. But anyways, that's not the only reason why I liked this graphic novel. Also, I like that the bulk of it is set in El Paso, Texas, where I live. And granted, they mention the city, but they don't mention any actual location. But still, it's another thing that I found pretty cool, that it's set in El Paso. So, and also too, I like the story, the artwork. It's pretty well written. Granted, I would say they definitely borrowed stuff from other superhero stories. So in that way, I could see how some people might say that to them it came off as a ripoff of other superhero stories, and I could definitely see that. But nonetheless, I still enjoy it. So pretty much Jaime, he gets his powers from this blue scarab beetle thing. One day, like during the last day of summer, him and his friends were messing around down by the river, in a van down by the river. No. But then they eventually, one of them finds this blue scarab beetle thing in the river. And I won't give away too many details, but I will say eventually something happens where, there's a kind of struggle, and then eventually the beetle attaches itself to Jaime's spine. And after that, he discovers that, he has access to these superpowers or special abilities and whatnot. And then, of course, he struggles to understand, where this beetle came from, why it chose him. Because the beetle itself is also supposed to be a living creature. But I guess for whatever reason, it needs some kind of host body in order to interact with anyone, really. So Jaime, he struggles to understand a lot of, stuff about this beetle. And he eventually, I guess, meets this billionaire guy named Ted Kord. And Ted Kord is a lot like the Bruce Wayne character. In fact, there are several mentions of Batman in this graphic novel. But Ted Kord, at one point, he tried to be like Batman. But for whatever reason, it didn't work out for him. So instead, he decides to try to help some other person, some other superhero-like person. And of course, he does that, and when he comes across Jaime, finds out, that he gets his powers from this blue beetle thing, and then he spends a lot of money on research I mean, trying to figure out what the beetle is, where it came from, you know, what it's capable of, and, you know, though, you know, unfortunately the only thing they're able to figure out with any kind of certainty is that if they could remove it from Jaime's spine, but if they remove it, there's a really good chance it'll kill Jaime. So, yeah. Eventually, then also too, this other character, like weird being person, shows up, dressed all in gold and wearing a gold helmet, and this being like tells them, well, at least he tells Ted Cord that the beetle is not what they think it is, and that in fact, I mean, the gist of what he says is that eventually the beetle will grow in power and it'll completely take over Jaime's body, change his DNA and whatnot, and then once it does that, then it'll become a real threat to not just, you know, its host body, but also pretty much to all of mankind. And so, I mean, that's the gist of what this gold being says. And of course, I mean, there's several action scenes in this. I would say, I mean, nothing like really too involved. I mean, there's no like actual villain, like main villain that the Blue Beetle or Jaime do battle with or fight against. It's just like a lot of different villains. There's also like this one group that they go by the name Posse, and they're just like, they have like their own different superpowers, abilities, and whatnot. And later towards the end, this other guy, like super powerful being, shows up. Again, something to do with the beetle itself, but yeah, it shows up and it almost almost kills Jaime's mom. And of course, you know, he sees that, he gets pissed off and he starts fighting this powerful being. But that fight scene towards the end, really, for me, it seems to be like, as far as this graphic novel is concerned, it's like the big fight scene in this graphic novel. So, which unfortunately it ends rather abruptly. But yeah, I mean, essentially, there's all this mystery surrounding this Blue Beetle thing. Just a lot of unanswered questions, which, you know, I would say, like, more than anything, this graphic novel, at least this volume, focuses a little more on Jaime Reyes than it does on, as far as, you know, anything to do with the Blue Beetle. I mean, as far as like what its origins are. So, because as far as that is concerned, again, there's just a lot of unanswered questions, but it definitely makes me want to know more about it. I'm hoping that in the next volumes, volume 2, volume 3, I'm not sure how many other volumes there are, but I know those are the ones that are available at my local library, so I'm definitely going to check those out, because yeah, it's making me like, I want to know more about this Blue Beetle thing, like, because definitely in this volume, no questions are answered. So, but I mean, overall, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I would say 3.5 bare minimum, but I prefer to round up to 4. So, I was surprised actually to see a lot of bad reviews of this on Goodreads. I want to say like the most recent review I saw of it was dated sometime in 2017. I guess that's when this volume came out. But yeah, I guess, I mean, I can understand why some people, or definitely some DC fans, would say this is just a rip-off of other superhero stories. And but I mean, despite that, I feel like it's still interesting. I still found it interesting enough that it held my attention, and I mean, I will say, like, maybe there were some of the parts, like, that involved a lot of dialogue. I got kind of confused, but it was mostly because, like, Jaime and Ted Cord, they were, like, talking back and forth through like some kind of closed, like, headset walkie-talkie type thing, or so yeah, I mean, when it came to that kind of stuff, as far as the dialogue was concerned, I got kind of confused, and because it was just like really fast back and forth talking, like, yeah, what are you doing? I'm over here at the location. Okay, better get to it. Okay, stop bothering me, or I guess eventually I got used to it, but at first I was like, okay, it's just a lot of back and forth, and but yeah, I mean, I really, other than that, the only other complaint, again, that I would say, well, not really a complaint, just kind of nitpicky thing I have, is that nothing is answered. I mean, as far as no question is answered, I mean, they don't reveal anything about the origins of the Blue Beetle thing, and so, yeah. But again, I still give it 4 out of 5 stars. So that's it. That'll do it for this review. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, next time, don't forget to keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace. Hello, everyone.